as the Egyptians were closing in on Klal Yisrael, having escaped, and now having the Egyptians come after them, they were getting worried. And they cried out, Vayiru Ma'od, they were very scared, Vayitzaku b'nei Yisrael Hashem. And they cried out to Hashem, Vayamru al Moshe, and they said, Moshe, if we're going to die anyway, we couldn't have died in the Midbar. There weren't enough graves. There wasn't sufficient space to bury us all in the Midbar. What did you do to us that you should take us out of Mitzrayim? Is what we said. And he continued on and on. And what was Moshe's response? Moshe says to the people, Al tira'u, do not be scared. Hisyatzivu, stand still. Ura'u es Yeshuas Hashem, and see the salvation of Hashem. Asher yasalachem hayom, that He's going to do for you today. Kasher isem es Mitzrayim hayom, as you see the Egyptians today, lo sosifu l'rosam od ad olam. You will never see them like this again. Hashem yilachem lachem. Hashem will fight for you. Vatem tacharishon. And you, tacharishon. What does tacharishon mean? It seems to mean from the language of cheresh. And you should be quiet. The Targum says, Hashem yigachon karavatun tishtikun. You are going to be quiet. The question is, what does that mean? What does that mean? What exactly is Moshe telling them that they should be doing? Ibn Ezra says, Vatem tacharishon hepech vayitzaku b'nei Yisrael. It's the opposite of the screaming that they had done earlier. The opposite of what they had done earlier. What does that mean? What was the Vayitzaku el Hashem? Vayitzaku was davening. Tafsu umnosavosam, Rashi says. They were crying out to Hashem. Isn't that what they were supposed to be doing? What does it mean? What does it mean that they're going to be silent? That they're going to be quiet? The Mepharshim have different explanations. Chizkuni says, Klomar tacharishu v'al talinu alai. Don't complain. That we understand. You were complaining until now. See, everything is going to be okay. Stop complaining. Don't worry about why we were taken out of Mitzrayim. Everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. If the explanation is that they should stop davening, then presumably it's about saying that you don't need to cry out anymore. You should have the confidence that everything is going to be okay. But is there maybe a different explanation? I heard this morning from Rabbi Dr. Berman Shlita in Yeshiva. I believe he quoted from the Rechaim HaKadosh, but I don't remember exactly. And he said that the alternative way to read it is Hashem yilachem lachem. Hashem is fighting for you. Ve'atem tacharishun. And you are going to be quiet? You can't be quiet. The opposite, as a question, the opposite of the way that was there. You, Bnei Yisrael, right now are crying out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now you're going to see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is fighting for him. And now, make sure, don't be quiet. Don't be silent anymore. You have to ensure that you're going to continue davening even afterwards. Continue calling out to Hashem. And it's such a powerful idea. It's a powerful idea because sometimes we become a little bit complacent. And we're dealing with a situation where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is once again fighting a war. He's fighting a war. We have our precious chayalim, our holy chayalim, who are there on the ground, who are the shluchim, and Hashem should watch over them, who are confident that they are going to win, that we are going to win, because that is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu promises. At the end of the time, at the end of the story, we come out on top. But what does that mean for us? If we know Hashem yilachem lachem, vatem tacharishun, does that give us the right to sit down quietly? And the answer is no. It was such a painful week this week. To wake up in the morning and see that 21 soldiers have been killed. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. But it's also a reminder. It's a reminder of the constant nisim, that the numbers, Baruch Hashem, are not like that all the time, but that they are in constant danger and they are being moser nefesh. And we have to make sure that we don't end up becoming quiet, that we don't cut back in our tefillah, we don't cut back in the things that we need to be doing. We don't become complacent. Okay, this is the way that is, and I know Kadosh Baruch Hu is doing what we are supposed, what needs to get done. So we don't have to worry anymore. We don't have to worry anymore. No, atem tacharishon. Just because we have that confidence and just because we have that emunah is not a reason to be quiet. It's a reason to do more. It's a reason to add to our tefillos, to add to our learning, to add to our chesed, to make sure that even though and even when we have the confidence and we have the amunah, just like Klal Yisrael had the amunah at the Yam Suf, we have the amunah, we have the faith, we have to continue to strengthen that amunah. But it's not a reason for a temtach harishon. It's not a reason we can be quiet. Rather, it's a reason that we will continue, and we must continue to daven and to try and see how it is that we can support, especially from a distance, what it is that we can be doing in order to support those in Eretz Yisrael, in order to support those who are fighting, and in order to bring us all closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that all of the partners and all of Am Yisrael together will hopefully be Yachad Nenatzeach, Be'ezras Hashem, with HaKadosh Baruch Hu's help, we will win, but not only will we win without suffering any more losses, without this terrible, terrible grieving. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bring a tremendous nechama and continued Yeshua to Klal Yisrael.